guys, good morning. It's Becca here. Today we're going to be talking about our piriformis and piriformis stretches. This is an awesome stretch. It's one of my favorites because it targets a lot of those major muscle groups within our lower back, our hips, and even within our psoas. Our population, we tend to sit a lot, so those muscle groups tend to get tight. Today, I'm going to show you a few different ways to stretch those big major muscle groups around the hips, and I promise you your hips will feel so much better after. So if this is a harder one for you, as you might notice in the title, I do have pigeon pose in there as well. So I'm going to show you a whole bunch of figure 4 stretches that would work for you, and then even progressions maybe into pigeon pose where you can get a little deeper and how to do that safely and effectively while getting down there and stretching out our psoas and hip flexors as well. So what you'll need today, I've got a few different props just to show you some progressions and how you can do your figure 4. I have a chair, so I'm going to use a chair to show you the first one. So if you are, if you don't have or if you have issues getting up and down off the ground, you can do this stretch in a chair as well, and it works fantastic. So we will start there. I also have a couple different cushions. So I have a firmer cushion to boast up, and I also have a block and a blanket. Now, you don't need all of those. I would suggest either getting a blanket that you can roll up, something that you can boast up, or even if you have a couple cushions, that would work as well, because you want to be comfy. So get whatever it is that you need to feel really comfy in your practice, and we'll go through the stretch, and your hips are going to feel so amazing after. Mine always do. It's a killer. All right, let's get started. So first of all, I have my chair, so I'm going to show you how to stretch out that piriformis and glutes and lower back in your chair first of all, and then we'll move on and we'll progress a little bit more and more as we go on through our session. All right, let's go. Okay, so if you are in a chair, you can just sit down right into the middle of the chair. Sometimes I like to put my bum just a little bit further towards the edge of the chair, just to give me a little bit more room. Good. So you can actually start with your left leg lengthened out at first, and then we're going to see you can even help your hand with your hands and bring that right leg up and see if you could cross that left foot right over top of the left thigh. Sorry, the right foot over top of the left thigh. Might look like I'm opposite to you. I think my camera mirrors you. However, you can start with whatever one you want. And just make sure you do both sides. So now that I'm here, I'm going to sit up nice and tall. Find my sit bones. So those two little bones poking out of my bum. Ground them down so they're nice and evenly pressed down on my chair. And then I'm going to stand up or sit up a little bit taller. Roll my shoulders up, back, and gently press them down. Good. You can close your eyes for a moment and just rest your hands on your foot and on your knee. And we're going to take 2 to 3 deep breaths here. So on that deep breath, send it all the way down into the abdomen. So imagine filling up your container with your breath here. So let's take a deep breath in until you can't fill up your container anymore. And then let it go. You can let it go through the mouth if that feels good, or gently through the nose. As you exhale, I want you to see if you can relax the muscles. So just getting a little deeper into the chair as if you're sinking in, and then relaxing the leg, the right leg there. So you're letting your knee come down a little bit. Let's do one more breath here. Nice deep breath in. And then exhale and soften. Good. This time, we're going to take a nice deep breath in again. And on our exhales, we're going to see if we can fold forward just a little bit. Now, I never want you to force this. So never ever force it. But just see how your back and your lower back and your hips respond here. So take a deep breath to get nice and tall. And as you fold forward, lead with the chest. So you don't want to be rounding over like this. Keep it nice, long, flat back, and bring the chest forward as you come forward. Never force it. So once you find that spot where you're like, yeah, that's okay. Not too much, not too little, just right. Take a couple deep breaths there. And just relax the face, relax the shoulders, the jaw. Nice and strong through the core, but relax. You don't have to be clenching or holding. Good. And one more breath. So if you are following along today, you can follow through all of these progressions as well and just stop where you think, yeah, that's a little bit too much for me. And then maybe next time you'll get a little bit further. So other leg, same thing. So once you get up, that foot up on top of the thigh, take a second to ground down through your sit bones. Good. Take a couple deep breaths here while relaxing, but lengthening the spine. On those exhales, see if you can just melt into your chair, allowing gravity and the weight of that left leg just to hang a little bit lower or get a little more relaxed so you're not clenching. After a couple breaths, if you feel okay, take a deep breath to get a little taller for the spine, and then exhale and fold forward just a little bit, just until you can feel it. Don't ever force it. And we'll take a couple breaths there. One side may feel different than the other, and that's okay. Just acknowledge it. If we don't know these things about ourselves, we can't fix them, right? So our job is not to judge our bodies in any way. Our bodies are kind of like roadmaps of our life, and we have little things that we've compensated for along the way, injuries or how we walk, or even where we store emotions. In our Ayurvedic practice and yoga practice, they say that women in general store a lot of emotions in our hips, which I could see for sure. I know if I'm having a day where I'm stressed or not feeling my best mentally, emotionally, my hips definitely feel it as well. So just something to tune into. Good. And then when you're ready, you can back off there. Good. Shake it out if you want. I'm going to just shake my legs out and move my chair a little bit here. And we're going to go to the next spot. So I have a little tiny cushion bolster thing here too. If you don't like sitting directly on the floor, you can prop yourself up with a couple cushions or blankets, or if you have a bolster or a couple blocks, you could do that as well. It's just a little bit easier than sitting directly on the floor. So if you give that a try if you want. So I'm just going to sit right down on. I'm going to face sideways so you guys can see me here. Good. So same thing here. It's just going to feel a little deeper. So I'm going to take my right foot once again and cross it over top of my left. So you can see the angle of my knee right now, and that's a comfortable angle for me. This might be more comfortable for you, okay? So tailor it in a way for your body that makes sense for you so that you're not forcing anything, okay? So I'm just going to start bending my knee. So the more you bend your knee, that left knee, if your right leg is crossed over, the more you're going to start to feel it, okay? You can either sit up nice and tall here, or if you want, especially if you're on the floor, you can lean back a little bit as well. So see how that works for you. If you sit up, you can definitely feel it a lot more. So just keep that in mind, guys. Once again, we're getting nice and tall through the spine. So we're lifting and lengthening through the spine. But you can definitely call the glutes, your piriformis. If you lean forward, you will probably feel it in your lower back as well. So same thing here, couple breaths. On your inhales, always getting longer and taller. On your exhales, you're increasing the stretch minimally and relaxing into it. Good. And you can do the same thing on the other side. Just being aware that if this side feels a little different than the other, then adjust for it as well. So my left hip is chronically a little more tight than my right. So I always like to start a little milder. So not really getting too deep into it yet. I'm going to take a couple breaths where it feels okay. And then maybe if it allows me, I can bend up that knee a little bit more and see if I can get a little deeper there. Good. So taking your nice deep breaths here, taller on the inhales and exhaling to fold maybe a little bit forward. And settling in, relaxing the face, the jaw, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Good. I know these ones feel super good. Beautiful, you guys. So that's a great progression off of your chair into your piriformis stretch. You can also do that one with your back against a wall, okay? So if you feel like your spine needs a little bit more support there, you can always do it with your back against the wall. And that gives some support for your spine, which feels really good as well. So keep that in mind. If that one was a little bit more challenging for you to try to keep your body up, do it against the wall. You can also do reclining figure 4. I think we've all been there before. I like to try to do it first before I go into reclining figure 4 against the wall as well. So I'm just going to turn around backwards. Hopefully you guys can see me here. When you lay down on the floor, if you want, grab a pillow or a blanket that feels good under your head, okay? So I'm just going to lay down here. Hope that you guys can still see me. Good. My left foot is just going to come up onto the wall first. You can be as far away from the wall as feels good to you. The closer your bum is towards the wall, the more of a stretch you're going to feel here. So putting, once again, my foot across the leg, and I'm going to hang out here for a few breaths. When you're reclining, you can probably feel that a little bit more on your lumbar spine as well. So really starting to settle in, drop into the floor on those exhales, and breathe. So once again, a couple breaths on both sides. Switching it up. Once again, if one side is a little tighter than the other, you can always adjust the distance away from the wall. Last breath. Good. And I'm just gonna roll out of that. So some pretty good figure 4 stretches there for all abilities. Now, if you are looking to progress into pigeon pose in your yoga practice, I'm going to show you a couple different ways how you can progress into it safely so that you're comfortable, right? So pigeon pose is one of those poses where you either really, really like it or really, really hate it. So if you're really hating it, and be able to give you some answers on how to make that a little bit more comfortable for you. So make sure that you have a blanket with you or a cushion, couple pillows, or a block, okay? Something that can boost you up a little bit. Good. All right, so I'm just going to come over onto my hands and knees here. And my cushion is going to be on the right side of me. Hopefully you guys can see my cushion is on the right side. Good. To warm up, I'm just going to do a couple cats and cows here. So on those exhales, I'm going to drop the chin, round spine up, and point the tailbone down towards the floor. And then on the inhales, just dropping the belly and taking chin and tailbone up. So we're just working into our spine a little bit, into those hip flexors, into the pelvis. Just moving in just a tad, warming up. Good. Beautiful. Good. So when you're ready, we're going to take this right leg and we're going to bring the shin forward. Okay, so the shin, I'm not going to say it's supposed to be parallel to the front of your mat. Sometimes teachers cue that. Mine never goes parallel to the front of the mat. You have to have extremely open hips for that to happen. It kind of looks more on an angle with your heel towards your opposite hip bone. From there, I'm just going to take this cushion and put it under my bum, under that right bum cheek. So my right leg is out in front. My left leg is stretched behind me, okay? And then I'm just going to stick my right bum cheek right onto that cushion. So if I sit up nice and tall here, I can already feel a stretch through that left hip flexor there, that left psoas, which is really nice here. From here, because I've already warmed up my piriformis and my lower back and my glute muscles, this is feeling quite good here, relaxed onto this cushion. And then if you feel okay with it, you can start to bring your body down towards the floor a little bit here. If you have a couple cushions or your blanket, you can always hug it as well to make things more comfortable. So a lot of times I see people trying to do their pigeon pose without a support and their bones are kind of hanging out in midair here. And it actually makes your hips contract and hold on here. So we want to take all the pressure out of the hip joint so that we can relax into it and just let gravity do the work. So eventually, maybe you can put something a little smaller under there as your hips start to relax, and maybe eventually that right hip or that hip settles on the ground. And that is for progression. So if you're in your practice and this is happening, put something under the bum so that you can relax with gravity and just let go. Okay? So taking a couple breaths wherever you are. So this one is actually a hard one mentally because it is a deeper pose for our hips, and when that happens and when we feel challenged, our mind starts to wander, it starts to bubble, it starts to get negative. So see if that's happening to you and see if you can let go of those thoughts and relax into it. So focus on your breath, sending your breath all the way down into the belly and exhaling slowly. And then all those exhales, see if you can melt a little bit, letting go of tension, starting through the face, the shoulders, the belly, and then the hips and the legs. Good. So if that one's done quite easily, there's other variations where you can lift up the back leg and grab hold, and that's obviously going to be a little bit deeper into the hip flexors and that quad. So just a progression there as well. Good. Once you're done, come right back onto all fours and give that hip a little shake out. Just shake it out a little bit. If you want to make any little movements, cats and cows, anything that would feel really good to your hip joints, you can do that before going to the other side. Make sure that your props are on the other side so that you can use them effectively into your pigeon pose. So, once again, I'm just going to bring that opposite leg or other leg. This is my left leg in front. Okay, I'm going to stretch my right leg behind, feeling that nice hip flexor stretch. Sitting up nice and tall and long here. Really feeling that stretch there. It feels really good. And then using your support underneath that left cheek to see what works for you here. And then maybe walking your way down to a lower position for a few breaths. And once again, just going through that process of relaxing the mind, relaxing the body. And then finding somewhere that works for you in this position. And once again, one side may feel a little different than the other, so don't force it. If it's not working out, it doesn't look the same on both sides, that is okay, guys. Like I said, our bodies adjust and compensate in different ways throughout our life, just depending on what we've been through. It's kind of like our roadmap, not to be judged, but maybe just to be acknowledged and worked on. So once again, you can stay there as long as you want, as long as you're comfortable and at ease. Don't force anything, guys. Once you get up from this practice, you'll probably feel a little looser in the hips. And yeah, I don't know about you, but happy hips, happy lives. And that all makes sense to me. All right. So when you are done those piriformis practice, that piriformis stretch there, sometimes it's nice to just windshield wiper the legs side to side, just gently, just lubricating into those hips and getting circulation back into them. Good. I don't know about you, but my hips feel a lot better today. So hopefully, if it's you got some tight hips and you joined me for that practice, you feel a lot better. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And we'll talk to you soon. Leave me a comment if you want, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks, guys.